Welcome back to the Creating Value in Schools podcast with me, Liz Worthen, where we explore sustainable working in schools. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Eco Schools champion Edd Moore, who as a teacher led his primary school to a number of awards over several years, including the Jane Goodall Roots and Shoots Educational Institution of the Year Award, Eco Schools Primary Eco School of the Year, and Surfers Against Sewage Plastic Free Schools champion. And I know there's a whole host more. And Edd, you're now an author too, and you've taken a shift from full-time teaching to fully focusing on supporting schools to implement environmental education. But let's start by going back a bit and tell us about how, as a teacher, you first got involved in environmental education.
It was the first year of my teaching. Back then, it was like your NQT year, and the school I was at had these fabulous grounds, but didn't have a school garden. And I just couldn't understand why children weren't outside getting close to nature, connecting with nature, and that children just literally did not know where their food came from. They thought it came from the supermarket. So off I went and I designed and I built the first school garden and got children outside growing all types of vegetables through the seasons and then harvesting those fruits and vegetables, which we eventually went down to local town markets and sold the produce there. And children, obviously, they're using weighing skills, their money skills, their communication skills. And then it went from there. More gardens came and were built.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. And you say, and what a great way actually to, I can see how that can really embed into other areas of the curriculum, as you say, then planning and money and finance and so many things. Well, a bit of a pun, but a kind of organic way for things to grow. And then how did you get from there to the awards and the more like consistent integrated planning around the environment?
Yeah, we went for the Eco Schools Green Flag and it sort of snowballed from there. But Eco Schools gave us the structure so we could implement environmental topics continuously through our curriculum. And the children came up with an idea of making eco products. So we took part in the National Fiver Challenge competition and we decided to go down more of an eco approach rather than, your bog standard making cakes and selling cakes and all that. And the children came up with some really good ideas. They came up with Spick and Span, which was a cleaning agent, which could literally clean anything made out of coconut oil and bicarbonate soda. They came up with Waxtastic No Plastic, which is an alternative to cling fill using beeswax wraps. And we won the national awards for these products. And we made some really good money too. Children were out there selling these products and they weren't stood behind a table. They were out. I got salespeople from car lots and estate agents come in and actually teach them how to sell properly. And children then use those skills to go out and have the confidence to go up to people and give them a 20-second pitch of why they should be buying their product. And I think our best product was Waxtastic No Plastic. We made about £5,000, which went back into a nature area within the school. And that pretty much started campaign after campaign, then started coming. We did single-use plastic campaign within the school. And that pretty much put us on the national stage. And then many more came from doing a deposit return scheme, which is still going on now. I'm sure I got to meet Michael Gove at the time, the Secretary for State for Environment. And he got a bit of a good talking to on BBC Newsround.
Amazing. So many experiences.
Yeah.
And yet lots of opportunities for learning I can see as well, which sort of brings me to the next thing I wanted to ask you about, which is what you find best when teaching children and young people about climate change. Because I think it's something that potentially can feel tricky, as in like you might not want to increase climate anxiety. Some young people and children find this a topic of worry already, and you don't necessarily want to be doom laden or feel you're doing something very negative. So yes, tell us a bit more about that and the approach you've taken.
Yeah, so in my teaching, I'm always starting with an inquiry-based question. So it could be, Is it worth saving the wonders of the world, the natural wonders of the world? How can we keep our oceans looking beautiful? How can we keep biodiversity thriving so we can eat and have fabulous food? And then we take the learning from there. We go and ask the children what their prior knowledge of is in these topics. And then I just follow the children's learning. I follow where their interest goes. There is some scaffolding further down the school for younger children, helping them to guide them to an ending point. But most of the time, it's free done. It's all interlinked, runs down every curriculum subject like a golden thread. It's got literacy, maths, geography, history, science. It's all intertwined together. And a lot of it is getting outside, connecting with nature, getting experts in, going and visiting lovely attractions. Most of the time it's free, and encouraging families and their children to go and experience these at weekends to take their learning further, and making sure that it's open for all, that everybody can access these wonderful places. And every time I give a recommendation, I try and really make sure that there's no cost involved and that every family can experience the same opportunity.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's so important, isn't it? Because again, don't want that sense that, environmental education is something just for some people, or it's more expensive to try and do things in an environmentally friendly way. It's great to show that, isn't it? So what might you recommend for a teacher or member of staff in school who wants to get involved in environmental education and sustainability, is excited about this stuff, but isn't sure where to start?
A good place to start is to get an eco crew together, get a group of children together, and do an audit of your school. Do an audit of what you're doing well, what you need to improve on. There's lots of audits out there of templates that you can use online. Eco Schools, again, is a really good place to go. Also, Let's Go Zero have some good things, some good templates too. And then once you've got that, then draw up an action plan of what you need to improve on, and put it under three environmental headings. So it could be waste, could be litter, could be biodiversity, school grounds, it could be transport, and then go from there. Get the children to lead these projects, get the children's ideas. It's really important that we have children leading. It's not your group. You're there to mentor and coach and facilitate. Make sure that children are there leading on these projects, because if they're leading, then they're more likely wanting to carry it on and encourage teachers and encourage the community, encourage their families to get involved too. And I always think that waste is always a really good topic to start with first, because it's so broad, it's so huge, it's never ending. You can do a litter pick, you can go out and make your school single-use plastic free, going out and make your town single-use plastic free. You can look at the paper wastage that you're doing, you can look at the composting, and you can look at the stationery. Loads of people forget within schools about stationery and about how they could be reducing the amount of stationery that they buy in. Are there ways that you could get a refill glue stick? Are there ways that you can refill a whiteboard pen, so then you're not throwing away all that plastic all the time? And there are lots of answers, out there on social media, in books too, that you can find the answers to all these things.
Absolutely, yes. And speaking of books, Ed, so tell us about the book you've written. I think this would be a great resource for people.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, I've got it here. Got it here in my hand. There you go. So 100 ideas for primary school teachers, greener school. And it's 100 ideas that I tried and tested throughout my 30 years of teaching. It has a foreword by Dr. Jane Goodall, and it's published by Bloomsbury. And it has the support of many other organisations like Eco Schools, Let's Go Zero, the Climate Ambassadors as well. And it's a fantastic resource to encourage schools, teachers to start taking action on climate change. And just use one idea. It's not just for primary school teachers. It can be used by everybody: families, scouts, guides, brownies, secondary school teachers. Everybody can use it in some way. It says primary school teachers, but I feel it can be used for everybody.
Oh, it's amazing. And I think I remember you saying previously that in every chapter, there's kind of ideas. So there's your simple start ideas, and then also ways to take things further. So wherever you're at in your journey, there's something for you.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, they're bonus ideas, taking it further ideas. And like you said, it doesn't just stop there. There's more and more ideas where you can keep on taking it further, and it's pretty much endless.
I'd like to come back to the idea of waste because I think it's really interesting and it's something that I feel I've thought more about waste in the last year than I have done before. Definitely a topic with lots to explore. And I also think it's could be potentially a good way to get other kind of leaders in the school on board. So, for example, yeah, you talked about things like stationery waste, food waste. Because actually now, isn't it, that's something that, well, that can be a cost for schools, isn't it? With under simpler recycling, you need to make sure your food waste is taken away by the right kind of provider. So that's something else. So I feel like there's also cost savings, aren't there, for schools potentially here, which could be a good way for someone who maybe wants to get their head teacher on board or the school business lead. That could be a way to do it, couldn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It involves everybody,
Mm.
throwing your site manager as well, or your caretaker. The waste factor involves everyone, and schools are so tight with budgets at the moment that they need to find quick wins. And this is a quick win to reduce your waste, reduce your paper, your recycling, have a bit more of a thought about what resources you're bringing in, having a ban on glitter, for example, or finding other ways that you can reduce the cost. And by refilling, reusing is always a good way. Those R's, those sort of 8, 9 R's are always a good way to start, refuse, reduce, reuse, refill, repair. And then way down the list is now recycle. And those are the things that we need to be focusing on. Our schools need to be focusing on too. And I always feel that stationery is an easy, quick win that everybody forgets about.
So would you say, Ed, because you've been involved in many projects, all kinds of different things, thinking about impact, could you tell us about a couple of projects that you really feel, gosh, that had a really far reaching impact or that had a deep impact? This is something that I really feel made a difference.
Yeah, I did a biodiversity project, and it was looking at wildflowers, and I wanted to teach the children about what they could find within the school grounds, and they'd be able to name the wildflowers, the trees, and everything else, and the insects. But then it just steamrolled. We had children outside journaling and drawing pictures and annotating what they saw, and with I wonder questions. I wonder why the plant has 6 petals, or I wonder why it's that color. And then, based upon a book that we read in class, where the character the character enjoyed a disused car park, and she ended up turning it into a beautiful wildflower meadow. And then the children said, "Well, can't we do that, Mr. One? Can't we do that?" And then we found a bare piece of land near our school. We asked the Duchy, who owned the land at the time, and the Dorset Council. And then the children went off. They picked lots of wildflower seeds from wildflowers. We didn't want to buy them. We wanted to sort of reuse the whole circular. And the children sprinkled on this bare bit of land, and we grew this beautiful meadow. But it didn't stop there. The children then wanted to raise money for a nature board to help educate the community. So we raised the money. The children did the artwork on the board. And then they became the experts. They became the guides. They guided people around for donations for the community to tell the community about what was living and what they could see within this meadow. And then it did stop there, because then they took their families out to wildlife trusts, gardens and meadows, which were all free. So then they could add to their journals, add to their knowledge, tell their parents. They're really chuffed and really proud that they could tell and identify like knapweed and share this with their families. And it got to a point towards the end of the summer term that they wanted to go out into nature and connect with nature more than wanting to get on the school tablets or the school computers. Everybody, boys, girls, everyone, they all wanted, can we just go outside? Can we go and see what else we can find? Can we use the app to discover what we can find and improve our biodiversity within our school? And that obviously connects really well with the National Nature Education Park, which obviously the government are funding and running, which is a great resource for to get your children out into nature using technology. Also using the Seek app is really good on your phone or on your tablet. One forever using that. But that was probably one of my best projects that made a huge impact, not just in school, but families at home and the whole community.
Oh, that's brilliant, isn't it? And we are at a time, aren't we? We're talking about so many schools want to find ways to engage with families, build relationships. And I think you've shown actually by, starting with children's interests. Again, you've had something that's grown in an organic way to involve so many more people. And also I can see so many cross-curricular art projects, creative writing projects, so science investigation, so much potential there. So Ed, I'd love to hear, because you've had some time teaching in Bali, haven't you? So
Yeah.
just tell us a bit about what got you there and how did teaching in Bali compare to teaching in the UK?
Two good questions. I was headhunted by Green School Bali, which is known as one of the best, if not the best, eco school in the world, to go and work there as a grade 2 teacher and their curriculum coordinator. I basically ran out of ideas of excuses why I shouldn't. So I ended up saying yes. And it's an unbelievable experience. It's in the jungle. Everything's made out of bamboo. It's bamboo structures, lots of outdoor learning, lots of creative play, lots of thinking on your feet and having no barriers. There's nobody on your case. There's nobody asking for your planning. There's nobody asking to see you teach. There's no data. You're literally allowed to teach and enjoy teaching, and the children enjoy teaching, and did some fabulous projects, from looking at biomimicry, which is obviously looking and learning from nature to solve human problems. We made our own natural paints, taking extracts of petals and bark and then making it thicker as well. And we also made our own dyes. We looked at waste as well, because in Bali, there's a huge plastic waste problem. So the children came up with their own 8Rs and they promoted that across the school. Children encouraging their families to switch to shopping in the local market rather than going down the supermarket and collecting all that plastic. So it was having an impact on the children too. And it was such a great opportunity. I think my final good project was coral reefs, and we made these ceramic coral reefs to go under the water, which we worked with grade 12 and 13 with, because they get an opportunity. They get an opportunity to learn how to dive, and they got the opportunity of taking these ceramic coral reefs down for us, and they basically hook onto the coral, and then it creates more marine life to thrive in the Balinese waters. So, which then, funny enough, children then were encouraged and inspired to want to snorkel and dive. So, that became a pastime for everybody. So all these projects, all these environmental projects really do encourage children and families to get involved, which is, fantastic to see.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? That's a thread running through all of it. I love the idea of having diving on the curriculum. And also, I guess there was no Ofsted.
No Ofsted at all. Freely to teach and freely, no pressures. 8 hours of planning time within the school day. So you weren't using your weekends or after schools to do planning. Yeah, it's a completely different world out there.
Yes. But yet you've come back. And so now, Ed, I think your mission is to help other schools to do more of this work. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, through my EcoEd consultancy, I'm here to support schools, MATs, international schools, to embed a sustainable curriculum, weaving in all these fabulous projects within a curriculum. But I do some great work as well, head of education for the Green Schools Project on their Zero Carbon Schools program, which is a fantastic program for schools. Can either do it themselves with using our resources, or we can come in and run the program for you. So some great projects there to look into.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you. It's a good reminder, isn't it? There is so much support out there, and a lot of it is free, isn't it? There are lots of, as you mentioned, some of the websites and bodies and things who are there to provide support to schools. Oh, wow. But let's finish by giving us a little bit more suggestions for learning and inspiration. So tell us, is there anything you've been reading or listening to recently that's inspired you or you've learned from?
Yeah, there's a really good friend of mine. I was on a podcast. She's got her own social media, the Muddy Puddle, and she recently brought out a book. It's called The Muddy Puddle Key Stage 1 Teacher, a playful way to take the national curriculum outdoors. It's a fantastic book with lovely pictures, lovely creative, practical ideas that teachers can use within their curriculum to get their children, their classrooms outdoors and connecting with nature. So I really recommend people checking out the book. It's published by Bloomsbury.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you, Ed. You've given us lots of great ideas and practical things. And yes, and also reminded us, going back to your biodiversity project, that like this is stuff that anyone can do. You might have a concrete backyard in your school, but you might, whatever your setting, urban, rural, you'll be able to find things that are growing and grow some more.
Yeah, definitely. There's great opportunities for everybody and it's all free.
Thank you very much, Ed.
Thank you.